What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Leadership Lean In. We lean in. We do not lean back. We're leaning in to the subject, one of our favorite subjects in the whole world, the subject of leadership. Thank you to every person that likes, subscribes, comments, helps us get the message out. By the way, are you subscribed to our leadership email? We put out an email. We try our best. I've been working hard trying to put out a leadership email every Thursday. In addition to that, guess what's back? Guess who's back?
Back again.
Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Guess who's back? Leadership Lean In Instagram.
Let's go. Let's go.
It was gone for how long?
Years. Yeah.
We found through a Gmail account, we got back into that thing, and we're now posting content almost every day on Leadership Lean In. So give us a follow and leave a comment on there as well. So we're all over the place, man. Are you kidding me? YouTube, Instagram, emails, we're all over the place. And also, mark your calendar. If you are a leader, you're going to want to join us August 18th and 19th here in Los Angeles for our pastors gathering. If you are a minister in creative or kids or leading a church, whatever area of ministry you serve in, please, we'd love to host you here in LA. I think it's going to be amazing.
I think it's going to be the best one yet. And it's one of the favorite things we do here at ZOE.
It's always, I always walk away going, I think that's the best thing we do.
Yes.
It's just so much fun. So it's going to be an awesome time. All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are talking about why leaders don't reproduce themselves. And I love this thought. Wayne Cordero, one of my favorite leaders, he used to always say this: leaders teach what they know, but they reproduce who they are. And I always like that idea that I have the ability, I have the power or potential to reproduce who I am into someone else. We see this, if you're a Bible reader, you see this from Moses to Joshua, from Paul to Timothy, Elijah, Elisha. You see this reproducing and the value of it. I think so much of leadership is freely you have received, freely you should give. You get good things, you give away good things. And trying to find who's worthy of me trying to pour my life into and invest into them. So why do so many leaders struggle with this? Reproducing themselves. Why do so many people don't have a successor? I like this whole thought about leadership. There is no success without a successor. And shout out to one of my dear friends, Pastor Chris Hodges in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, but really all over Alabama, Church of the Highlands. I mean, talking about a church that has touched the earth and done more good for people than we can wrap our head around. And Pastor Chris is a hero in the faith and a leader of leaders, pastor of pastors. But maybe one of the greatest marks of success for his leadership is that he recently passed on the baton to Mark Pettis, his youth pastor, guy that's been with him since day one and has been with him through the whole journey. And the real success of his leadership is not just what he built, but the fact that he was able to raise somebody up and put all of his vision and his values and his mission and his standards into somebody and then say, go, I believe in you. You know you believe in somebody when you hand them over an organization that has this many assets, this many people, this much going for them. That is the true sign of leadership. So why do so many leaders struggle to reproduce themselves? I want to give you a few things today. Number one, they don't live what they teach. And this is where it all starts. Remember, you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are. Most people cannot reproduce who they are because they're not living it. So it's not about head knowledge. It's not about just, knowing stuff. I'm a big fan of Proverbs of the Day. I love reading the proverb. And I read through all those proverbs. Man, I know so many proverbs. Just because I know something doesn't mean I live it. And the test of leadership is not knowing stuff, it's living stuff. And you can't reproduce yourself if you don't live out leadership. You don't influence people. You don't teach it and live it and hold yourself to a high standard, because when you do, you become so followable that you'll attract great people. If you don't like who's around you, don't check them, check you, because you attract who you are. And you've got to be the one that's living out what you teach in order to find great people to reproduce yourself inside of them.
I think you said something really interesting. You said great leaders, they get good things and they give good things. And when it comes to like living an example, who your example is, who the people that you're looking up to matters so much. What about a leader who maybe like the person that they're being led by is not giving them good things? Is it still a leader's responsibility, even if they're not receiving it from who's above them, to then translate it into something good for other people?
Yeah, I think, great leaders are great schemers. You're just always trying to strategize, and where can I find the gold? Where can I find the good thing? Where can I find something that's worthy and worth passing on? And how can I help here? And, so much of leading, I think, is problem solving. So maybe you're under somebody that's not the best leader. Don't worry. Neither was David. So many people today that are listening to this, you might not be under some incredible John Maxwell, Craig Rochelle, Chris Hott. That's okay. You can still learn. And I think you can still find good things to absorb somewhere, somehow, some way, and give those things away. But it's always important that we start with us. Leadership doesn't start with them. Well, if I had better people around me. Well, if you'd be on time. Well, if they had a better attitude. No, it always starts with me. Am I living what I'm teaching? If I do, then I start from the place of authority. I have authority on these issues. I have authority on excellence. I have authority on generosity. I have authority on serving. I have authority on humility. I have authority on submission. Why? Because I'm living it. And if I live it, I can reproduce it. So many leaders never get to reproduce because they don't live what they teach. Number two, they don't believe in or trust others. And I think, thank God somebody believed in you. Thank God somebody took a chance and a risk on you. Thank God that somewhere, somehow, somebody said, I think there's potential here. And they saw in you what you couldn't even at the time see in yourself. This is the mark of leadership, seeing gold when even that person might think they're garbage. Even that person might think, there's nothing great in me. I've told this story before on Leadership Leading, but let me say it again for everybody that's new. One of my friends that's in the NBA, he's an all-star and signed, all these contracts, done really, really well for himself. And the first time he walked in the gym with his trainer, who is a legend of a trainer, the trainer says to this guy, are you ready for me to make you an NBA all-star? And this guy laughed like, come on, man, I'm never good. At the time he is averaging, no points a game and nowhere on the all-star level or radar. He kind of laughed like, come on, man, that's crazy. But the trainer saw something in the player that the player didn't see in himself. Leadership sees what nobody else sees. In fact, leaders see before everybody else sees what's going to happen, and they can speak into existence what's going to happen in the future. And I think start from there. Start from the premise, I believe in other people. I believe in the good of humanity. I believe in the potential of others. I believe that you're going to do better than I ever would. And if you start from there, you might have a shot. You might have a chance of reproducing all the good and the gold and the experience and all the stuff that's there inside of you and sending it out. But you won't do it if you don't believe in or trust others.
Yeah, I think this is really good. I certainly feel that way. The way you've led me, and I've seen you do this with so many people, and I've tried to do the same now, seeing in people that, to be honest, other people might have said, oh, they're already past their potential.
Yeah.
Or, I think you said one time, potential's a great word until you get to a certain age, and then it becomes a swear word.
It's a cuss word.
They got so much potential.
Yeah.
And now they had so much potential.
When
they're still in they have so much potential phase, are there any tangibles that you should be looking out for to go, that's the gold, there it is?
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer. I always think you gotta look at people not at where they're at, but where they could be. The privilege of leadership to me is helping somebody get from point A to point B. and not needing any of the glory for helping them connect that dot or get over that bridge. But it's being able to see, like you said, in that window, man, you could really influence and help and serve a whole bunch of people. So I'm going to leverage what I got, because I think if I want to help thousands, it's going to be through your life. If I want to reach millions, it's going to be through what's on you. I might not be able to do it, but I see something in you that I don't need. And that's, to me, when I walk around and see what's going on in the landscape of leadership, I'm amazed at the potential of others. I'm so impressed with other people's gifting, and I want to do everything I can to help people fulfill their God-given potential. But it starts from there. You'll never reproduce yourself without first believing and trusting others. Here's the third one. They fear being replaced. What's going to happen when I'm not needed? What's going to happen when nobody calls anymore? What's going to happen when I'm I'm yesterday's news clippings? I'm old news. I'm not as good as the next guy coming up. And I always think, what you refuse to lay down eventually will be taken away from you. And so I lay down my life. Why? Because I know my life's going to get taken away anyway. So I might as well surrender it. Lay down your ego, lay down your future, lay down your reputation, and say, you know what? Real success is that I work myself out of a job. And they're not trying to replace me. I'm actually trying to get them to replace me. And a little Beyonce coming on right here. I'm irreplaceable. And, if you could sing, just go ahead and hit that note right there. But, you are irreplaceable in the fact that there will never be another you. You're a designer's original. There's never going to be anybody that could do it the way that you do it, with your unique gift mix and the unique way that God chose to raise you. So you are irreplaceable. But you understand the leadership truth here is that we're trying to work ourselves out of a job. We're trying to replace ourselves. Why? So you can go do the one thing that only you can do. There's 1,000 other things that other people in your world, they could easily accomplish. Why don't you make room for them? But the threat that happens to so many leaders is, man, who's going to need me? Who's going to call me? I'm going to get replaced. You know what? You are, but who you are is irreplaceable. Here's the last one, number 4. They're not sure on what makes them great. And I think this is where the real hard work starts, is you identifying and being confident and honest with the greatness that's on your life. What makes you great? What makes you so good at what you do? And until you discover that, you won't be able to teach that. You won't be able to reproduce that, because you got to be able to look and go like, I'm actually really good at X, Y, and Z. And I actually am really thankful that I've put in my 10,000 hours, because I'm not the best in the world, but I'm really great at these few things. And until you can get there, I don't think you'll be able to reproduce and teach others what you know and who you are. I think there's something here about, like, you got to know what makes you great. You got to be able to identify, because it's one thing for others to recognize, man, you're so great at this, but until I can see it and I can say it, then I can't reproduce it and teach it.
When you said the 10,000, I was going tipping point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even realize you've been doing this thing and then all of a sudden you have this moment where it's an opportunity or it's a reflection moment, and you go, I've been doing this now for this long. Now I know the direction I need to go. I can actually reproduce this thing. And I think that's every leader's opportunity today, is to look in the mirror and go, what are the things that I want to, or what are the things I've been doing? What are the things I've been consistent in doing? What are the things I love to do? That's probably going to be the area that you can pass on in your 10,000 hours or.
Totally. And I think, once you get great at something, you start to recognize, I did not get here by myself.
Yeah.
There were some people along the way that helped me get this great. So maybe potentially I could help somebody, develop their leadership, develop their preaching gift, develop their writing skill, whatever, their podcasting, whatever it is that you do. I'm just listening to some things that I really love to do. And I've been doing for a long time. I want to help. When someone comes to me is like, I'm working on a book. I'm like, oh, you got to talk to so-and-so. You got to, hey, and this really helped me and this person. And I'm like, man, how can so many people help me get to where I am with books. Here's my resources. Let me help you and save you a few hard years of hardship and hit my head against the wall. Here's you preach. Oh man, let's talk about it. Who do you listen to? What outlines do you use? Man, this thought really helped me. And I love to try and go, I've got a few things here that I can give to you. They might not be everything you're looking for, but so much of leadership to me is just adding value. How can I add value? Takers take, but leaders give. So I don't want to take from somebody. I want to give to somebody. And when I live my life as with that heart set, man, Leadership Lean In, we've been going now for a number of years and we're over 200 something episodes and blah, 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 all that. It's like all that we do is record an episode to try and reproduce our love for leadership inside of you. And we're just working hard because we believe in you and your future. That's what this podcast is, but that's our lifestyle. That's a commitment to say, I'll teach what I know, but I'm going to the best of my ability, reproduce who I am. So again, thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for being a part of our tribe. We love you. There's more people that are for you than there are that are against you. And let me remind you, you're doing better than you think you are. Make sure you follow Leadership Lean In on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment on how this one helped you out today. But we'll see you next week. We love you.